Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Ekeeda.
Hello friends, now we are discussing something called as CPM. What exactly is CPM? CPM stands for Critical Path Management. Now what is Critical Path Management? So it is a technique or it is a method that is used for scheduling the activities which are known with certainty. So imagine you are doing a construction project which has 8 to 10 activities. You know very well what time will be taken by each of the activity, how much time will be taken by each of the activity, in what sequence those activities will be performed. Everything is known to you as a project manager. So you will like to know the cost trade-off, the time trade-off, and what exactly can be done to complete the whole project in a particular sequence in optimal time. That is what is discussed and calculated under CPM. Let's now learn the first part in CPM, that is a network diagram, also called as a arrow on network diagram. What is a network diagram? Network diagram is a project that is presented in a sequential manner on a paper by drawing some arrows. Now these arrows indicates the activities. Let's see how to draw a network diagram. For every network diagram, there will be multiple activities in the project. Now these activities will be represented by an arrow. The arrow indicates an activity, and this activity will have the start as well as the end. The start of the activity and the end of the activity will have circles called as nodes. Now nodes are the connecting points. They basically connect, or they are used to join activities in a network diagram. The start of the node is called as the L, and the front of the node is called as the head. So the point or the origin from where your arrow starts is the tail, and the point where your arrow ends, that pointed mark, is called as the head. Now let us say we have a project with 5 activities: activity A, activity B, activity C, activity D, and activity E. So these activities A, B, C, D, and E are required to be completed to complete the project. Now there will be certain sequence or chronological order in which these activities will be required to be performed. Now let us say our project starts at activity A. So A is the start of the project. Then we have B and C, which can be completed after A. Let's say we can start D. Let's say we can start D after completion of B and C. And at last we can start with E after completion of D. Now such kind of sequence, relationship or following of the preceding activities will be always defined in the question itself. हमारा क्वेश्चन क्लियरली स्पेसिफाई करेगा which are the initial activities, which are the subsequent activities, and what kind of relationship exists between the various activities in a project. Based on the given information, we need to prepare a network diagram, also called as arrow or network diagram. This diagram will have multiple activities which will be connected with each other through these circles called as the nodes. The start of the activity will be called as the tail and the end of the activity will be called as the head. So let's see how to draw the network diagram. In this example, A is the start of the project. So A will be my initial activity. Let's first draw activity A. So this is my activity A, and we have clearly specified in the problem that B can start after completion of A, C can start after completion of A. So I can start with B and C only after completion of A. So A का start यहाँ से हो रहा है और A का end यहाँ पे हो रहा है. So the head part of the A is where A will end. A will get completed. Now after this I can start with B, or I can start with C. So we started with something called as B and C after completion of A. Now what the question says, you can start D only after completion of B and C. Now I need to join B and C from where I can start with D. मुझे D शुरू करना है और D शुरू करने के लिए मुझे B और C को ज्वाइन करना है, but because B and C have the same tail, they cannot have the same head. That is the basic rule while drawing the network diagram, that two or more activities can have common head or common tail, either of the two. They can't have both at the same time. दो एक्टिविटीज को हेड और टेल दोनों एक साथ नहीं हो सकता. इन दिस केस बी एंड सी का टेल सेम है, so I can't draw or I can't join B and C to draw D from there. So what I need to do here, I need to introduce something called as a dummy activity. So we introduce a dummy activity. Now what is a dummy activity? An activity introduced in the solution just to make the solution feasible. अगर मुझे मेरा solution obtain करना है, if I want to obtain a network diagram with a proper sequence, sometimes I need to add some dummy activities which are nothing but imaginary activities with zero cost, and therefore they can be added at will, but only when it is required. Let's see how to draw a dummy activity and complete the diagram. Now I want to join B and C. I can't join B and C in this manner. In case I join B and C in this manner, they already have the same tail and they will have the same head, which is not allowed under network diagram. Networking में दो activities को same head और same tail allowed नहीं है, and therefore I need to join them by introducing a dummy activity. Let's see how. So I will add one dummy here. I'm just using a red ink to highlight the dummy. Now once I add the dummy, I have made sure that B and C are joined. You can go the other way. You can simply connect C to B rather than connecting B to C. It's highly subjective. आप B को C से कनेक्ट कर सकते हो, आप C को B से कनेक्ट कर सकते हो, and once that is done, you are assured that B and C are completed at this point. अब हमें शुरू करना है D, which can start only after completion of B and C. So यहाँ से आपका शुरू होगा D, and after completion of D we have E as the final activity. Let me be very clear, every network diagram will have only one start and one end. My project started at activity A and it got completed at activity E. In this whole case, we also put the numbers against these nodes. The circles called as nodes will be numbered by us from left to right. While numbering the nodes, always check that the number at the head should be more than the number at the tail. So there is again one more rule we have discussed now. So the number at the head should be more than the number at the tail. That is the rule that should be strictly followed while putting down the numbers, and the flow should be from always left to right. None of your arrows should move backwards. They can go up, they can go down, they can go horizontal, but you can't go for backward arrow facing network diagram. So I'll put down the numbers here. 1, 2. If I put 3 here and 4 here, then the tail will become more than the head. Therefore, हम पहले इसको number देंगे 3. Then this shall be numbered as 4, 5, and 6. So with this we have completed our first example of how to draw a network diagram, and we have learned few things, that the flow of the diagram should be from left to right. Second, no two activities will have common head as well as common tail. In case you have to join activities with a common tail, then you should always put a dummy, then only they can be added. And one more thing, the arrows should not be backward facing. These are few of the basic rules or the general rules that are required to be followed while drawing the network diagram. Let's see one more example and try to understand this concept in more detail. Now here is my second example based on the networking or the network diagram. Here we have activities A to F, 6 activities, and we are given the preceding activities. Sometimes they might give us the following activities or they might give us the preceding activities. Let's first try to understand the question. In the question we have activity A and B, जिनके अगेंस्ट प्रीसीडिंग एक्टिविटी में कोई भी नहीं है, मतलब देयर इज नो वन बिफोर A and B in the queue to start the project. So I can say A and B are the initial activities or the starting activities of the project, and after A we have C. So I can say A precedes C. This can be understood as A precedes C, or this can be looked upon as C follows A. So C will start after completion of A. In the same manner, in this case, since there are no activities before A and B, we will conclude that A and B are the initial activities. So no activities before A and B means A and B are the initial activities. In the similar manner, we have B is precedes D, or we can say D follows B. And in this case, I will say C and D precedes E. Or in other words, I will say E can start only after completion of C and D. So I can start with E only after completion of C and D, and then we have F, the last activity, which can start only after completion of E. So we can start with F after completion of E. Now let's try to draw the network diagram. So A and B are the initial activities. So I'll start with A as well as B. They are my initial activities. Now you always need to read the whole question, and drawing a network diagram is something where you follow the trial and the error approach. Most of the times I always advise to the students to draw the diagram with a pencil at the initial stage in the rough paper or on the back side of the answer sheet, just to get the fair diagram, because you never know at what point you need to make the changes or join two activities or separate two activities. So in this case, A and B are my initial activities. Now A precedes C, which means that I can start with C only after completion of A. At the same time, B precedes D, which means I can start with D after only completion of B. So let us say I start with C after completion of A, and I start with D after completion of B. Now again I need to join C and D. Now what has happened in this case, we have already drawn C and D separately, but we need to join them, and this is where you need to follow the trial and the error method and try to work out the whole diagram in a rough format with a pencil. अब मुझे C और D ज्वाइन करना है, तो मुझे इन दोनों को चेंज करना होगा, so I need to draw the diagram again. So I'm just trying to show how you will face the problem at the initial stage while learning how to draw the network diagram. These are the easy cases at the initial stage. As we go at the next level, the difficulty level will increase, and drawing the network diagram will be the ultimate challenge. So I'll just redraw the diagram. A and B are my initial activities. I'll join C and D as required, and after completion of C and D I will draw E. Only after completion of E I can start with F. E के बाद हमारा F आएगा. I'll put down the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So this is again the diagram where we have followed the flow from left to right. Arrows are moving forward. There is no such condition that your diagram should be symmetrical or there should be a particular shape to the diagram. It may happen that the same diagram may be drawn in a different shape. What's more important are the connections. You must satisfy the connections between the different activities rather than looking at the shape of the diagram. One more thing, while drawing the diagram, always follow the pattern from left to right. Don't put any of the arrows in a backward direction or in a curved direction. Any arrows should be always drawn straight with a scale rather than going in a curvy manner. Now what else we need to understand here? We need to understand two things. One is the burst event and other one is the merge event. Now what do you mean by burst event? When two or more activities start from the same node, I will say that is a burst event. So burst event is the point where two or more activities or multiple activities will be started simultaneously. Example, this is the burst event. In our diagram, A and B, both the activities start from node 1. Therefore, this can be called as the burst event. On the other hand, when two or more activities are joined at one single point, जब दो या दो से ज्यादा एक्टिविटीज कंबाइन होते हैं, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द merge event. In my case, activities C and D, they combine, they are joined at node 4, so this can be called as the merge event. So we are learning some new concepts. Earlier we saw what is a node, we saw what is an activity. A arrow indicates the activity. Activity is the part of the project. Then we saw the nodes. Nodes are nothing but the circles that are being put at the start and end of the activity. The circle at the start is called as the tail. The circle at the front or the end is called as the head, and these circles are used just to combine the activities. Then we learned how to draw the network diagram. Then we were talking about something called as a dummy activity. Then we talk right now about something called as merge event and burst event. Let's talk about few things more. Now we are taking the third example here, where we have 7 activities A to G, and there are some preceding activities that are defined in the question. If you look carefully in the question, A के पहले कोई भी activity नहीं है, मतलब A can be called as the initial activity. So is my initial activity, and after A I can start with B and I can start with C as well. So A के बाद शुरू होगा B और C दोनों. Let's first draw this much. So this is my A. After A we have B and we have C. Now the next thing is, after B we have D, after C we have E, and we also need to join D and E. So B के बाद activity D आएगा. B precedes D or D will follow B. That is what we are doing. D follows B. B के बाद D. Same way C precedes E or E follows C. C के बाद E. C के बाद E. And I will join both D and E because that is required at the next step, because after completion of D and E we can start with F and G. So this is how we have drawn the network diagram, and we like to put the numbers. Before putting the numbers, let's check the basic rules or conventional rules that are followed while making the diagram. Diagram should be from left to right, so we have a diagram from left. टू राइट, फ्लो हमारा बैकवर्ड्स कहीं पर भी नहीं है. नेक्स्ट, देयर शुड बी ओनली वन स्टार्ट पॉइंट एंड वन एंड पॉइंट. इफ यू लुक केयरफुली, आई हैव ओनली वन स्टार्ट पॉइंट एट ए, लेकिन मेरा एंड पॉइंट्स यहाँ पे दो है. Now this is something that is not allowed in networking. आप नेटवर्क डायग्राम में स्टार्ट भी एक होगा और आपका एंड भी एक ही होगा, आपका दो एंड्स नहीं हो सकता है. So that's the biggest fault in the solution or the diagram, that I have two end points which is not allowed, and both these are hanging without any support. This is something that is called as dangling. Now dangling is a case where at the final activity we have two or more activities, and because of that there is two endpoints which we don't want. Therefore what I will do, I will add a dummy activity here just to complete and get a single endpoint. Now the dummy can be from F to G or it can be from G to F, as you wish. This is my dummy which I have started from G to F. Now if I want to put down the numbers here, the numbers will start from 1 at tail of the A, 2 at the head of the A, then 3, 4 and 5. नेक्स्ट मेरा एरो G to F जा रहा है, तो फर्स्ट मैं G के हेड पे नंबर दूंगा 6 और फिर F के हेड पे नंबर दूंगा 7. अगर ये एरो डाउन साइड जाएगा तो 5 के बाद आप 6 यहाँ पे लो और 7 आप यहाँ पे ले लेना. इट्स हाईली सब्जेक्टिव. I can put the arrow or the dummy downside from F to G. यहाँ पे मैंने G to F लिया है. So this is a new case called as dangling, where you get two endpoints. So in dangling का problem solve करने के लिए we introduce a dummy activity to connect both the activities which are dangling. The next example I'm going to discuss has activities A to F, where A, B and C are the initial activities. So उसके पहले मैं dash दे रहा हूँ, and D can start after A, E can start after B and C, and F can start after D. Let's try to draw the diagram here. If you look carefully at the question, A and B are my initial activities, and even C is the initial activity. Now I can start with all the three A, B and C at the same time. फिर A के बाद आएगा आपका D, D follows A, and we need to join merge B and C to start with E, and after D start F after D. So this is what we can interpret from the question. Question समझना बहुत important है. Under CPM, the crux of the part is understanding the question rather than the solution. Once you get the question right, you will understand the solution. You will be very comfortable making the diagram. most of the times students fail to understand the question and therefore they are not able to score good marks in this topic. So my first activity will be start of A, B and C, all the three simultaneously. In this example we are going to start with three activities: A, B and C simultaneously. Now after completion of A, B and C, I can start with D after completion of A. मैंने A के बाद शुरू किया D और D के बाद मैंने शुरू किया F. अब D के बाद F में नीचे लेता हूं because I need to join B and C और वहां से निकलेगा E. B और C मुझे ज्वाइन करना है but I can't join them directly as we have seen B and C have the common tail, so they can't be joined directly. मैं B और D को डायरेक्टली ज्वाइन कर सकता हूं because उनका टेल अलग अलग है. I can join C and D because they have different tail, but because B and C have the same tail, they can't be joined directly. Therefore, we will introduce the first dummy here, and I'll take that upstairs. मैं C से B ऊपर ले रहा हूं dummy. This is my dummy. Now this dummy was drawn because after completion of B and C we have E. So ये रहा मेरा एक्टिविटी E और D के बाद हमारा FB है. अब D के बाद अगर मैं F स्ट्रेट ज्वाइन करता हूं तो देन देयर विल बी ए प्रॉब्लम ये होगा कि मेरा स्टार्ट पॉइंट एक ही होगा बट मेरा एंड पॉइंट दो होगा. देयरफॉर दिस इज नॉट अलाउड. This is not allowed. It goes against the rule that we can have one single start and one single end. हमारा स्टार्ट एक ही था. हमने स्टार्ट में ऐसा तो नहीं किया ना कि यहां से A, यहां से B और तीसरा C. Did we had multiple starts? No. We just simply merge A, B and C in this manner और हमने इनका टेल सेम कर दिया. In the same manner, I will simply merge E and F because I want to arrive at one single end point. E and F are my final activities, so they will always merge at one single point. So let's redraw the diagram again. A, B and C are my initial activities. So here is my A, B and C as the initial activities. Then I can start with D after A. I need to join B and C to start with E, but because B and C have the common tail, they can't be joined directly. So we put down a dummy here. But drawing a dummy, I have simply joined B and C. वहां से निकलेगा E और हमारे D से निकलेगा, D के बाद आएगा आपका F. So we had a dummy here just to join B and C because B and C have the common tail, so they can't have the common head. Let's give the numbers to the notes. This will be 1, this will be 2 because ये tail है, tail हमेशा छोटा होगा, head बड़ा होगा. This will be 3, 4 5 and 6. So we have 6 nodes here. Let's check the numbering of the nodes. The node for F, the head is 6, tail is 5. हेड बड़ा होना चाहिए, टेल छोटा होना चाहिए, satisfy हो रहा है. For D, head is 5, tail is 4. Again the rule is satisfied. Tail will always have a lower number than the head. For dummy, tail is 3, head is 2. For C, tail 2, head 1. So everywhere the rule is required to be followed. So this is the diagram where we learn how to merge the final activities of the project even though it was not specified anywhere in the problem. So the final activities in this diagram were merged to arrive at one single endpoint. Now one more example based on network diagram we have is where there are 8 activities and we need to draw the diagram. If you look at the question, A and B are the initial activities. A और B में the initial activity है. A के बाद C, A और B के बाद D. So be very careful. This is the part I want to teach. This is the most typical part of this problem कि A के बाद सिर्फ A के बाद C है और A और B कंबाइन करके वहां से D भी निकालना है. I want to join A and B and start with D and I want only C after D. So let's see how to draw it. पहले तो हमारा इनिशियल एक्टिविटीज आएगा A और B बिकॉज उनके पहले डैश है, उनके पहले कोई भी प्रीसीडिंग एक्टिविटीज नहीं है. सो A and B will be my initial activities. Then after A we have C. सिर्फ A के बाद है C और मुझे A और B कंबाइन भी करना है, वहां से निकालना है D. How to combine A and B? Now already A and B have the same common tail. A और B का tail same है तो उनका head same नहीं हो सकता. And for that reason I need to add a dummy here. मैं A को नीचे लेगा and connect it with B just to complete the diagram and this will be your dummy. Once I have joined A and B, now I can start with something called as D. Now C के बाद E और D के बाद F और मुझे D, E और F कंबाइन भी करना है. C के बाद E, D के बाद F and I will combine E and F, वहां से निकलेगा G और G के बाद आएगा H. So we have drawn the diagram. If you look carefully, मेरा starting एक ही point है, मेरा end भी एक point पे हो रहा है and we had introduced one dummy just to complete the diagram. The numbering will start from left to right. Head पे बड़ा number, tail पे छोटा number. So it will be 1 here. If I write 2 here and 3 here, my tail will be 3 whereas the head will be 2, which is not allowed. तो पहले मुझे नंबर यहाँ पे देना पड़ेगा 2, फिर यहाँ पे नंबर आएगा 3, then I can write it here 4, this is 5, 6, 7 and 8. With this the diagram is done. I hope you got the basic things that what is a network diagram. Now drawing the network diagram is an art and you need to practice a lot. You have to follow a lot of trial and error method, then only you will become comfortable and familiar with the whole concept of drawing a network diagram. So this was the first part under networking where we learned the basics of drawing a network diagram. Remember, drawing the network diagram is the most crucial part of this whole topic of CPM and PERT. CPM PERT में अगर आपका networking diagram में mistake हुआ तो almost your whole problem may go wrong. Therefore, it is very vital that you understand how to draw the network diagram. You practice a lot of problems based on networking. We have solved almost 10 to 12 or 15 problems based on the concept of only network diagram, so that you can become familiar with the whole concept. Thanks for watching this video. Do subscribe to our channel Ekeeda.